Hello everyone, welcome to Jupiter in the 11th house of your chart. This video is good for you if Jupiter is placed 11 houses away from your ascendant or rising sign. It's also good for a Western chart. Just make sure that you have equal house system. I'm also looking at the aspects that Jupiter makes from this position. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to sub below. Let's begin. What then is the 11th house in your chart? Primarily, it's a house of gain, where you gain assets, financial rewards from your career. It's your wages, if you like, how much you can stockpile through your own efforts in your professional life. It's also the gain you get from supportive friends in your life, network circles, large organizations, political, religious, spiritual, which you may choose to belong to. 11th house also represents your elder siblings and all the support they give you in this life. And who is Jupiter? Jupiter is a pure sattvic spiritual being who is the most munificent and benefic planet. He is here to give us the wisdom that will help us escape from Maya and illusion in this world. He represents, on a mundane level, your children, your wealth, your education, foreign lands, husband in a female chart, and elder brother. What happens then when Jupiter, such a high-minded entity, is placed in the 11th house of your chart? First of all, in the Vedic system, Jupiter is likened to a lamp. He shines not so much brightly where he sits as where he aspects. So in your case, he is brightly lighting up the 3rd house of your chart, skill base, siblings, communication, the 5th house, children, creativity and education, and the 7th house of spouse. First and foremost, though, Jupiter in the 11th house is going to increase your assets, most definitely. Jupiter represents wealth. He's a karaka for increase of material wealth. Therefore, being in this house of gain, unless he is very afflicted and there are bad aspects towards Jupiter from another planet, he will definitely give you gain. He can increase wealth to a very high degree, but very often, he will often give you aid from other people finding opportunities also. So your career definitely benefits having Jupiter in the 2nd house to your 10th house. He is definitely going to open many doors for you that will give you increase in material assets many times. Jupiter also makes you a very opportune person. You see opportunities where others miss them and doors open to you that others couldn't even imagine were there. So people see you climbing quickly up that career ladder, up that ladder of success very often, and they wonder how you find the opportunities. It's all coming to you from past life good karma. Most of all, you gain the support of your colleagues, support of mentors, support of people in your working place who believe in you and your talents. So it's generally extremely lucky for assets, wealth, and definitely progression in your career up the ladder of success. Now, what happens when Jupiter is not so well placed or badly aspected in this house? In a way, it's not exactly the opposite, because you still gain opportunity, income can increase, but there's so much restlessness. Opportunities come, but you miss them. You're always one step ahead of yourself. Friends cannot always be relied upon. Colleagues cannot always be relied upon, because Jupiter is actually in the 6th house from the 6th house. So there can be, funnily enough, quite a lot of workplace stress if Jupiter is badly aspected or badly placed by sign with this position. Outside of the workplace, this is the house of friendship circles, network circles. Jupiter makes you philosophical, determined to do something good for humanity if he is well placed here and has good aspects. You want to be part of larger network groups and societies, political societies, philanthropic societies. You want to do good for mankind. And Jupiter brings you many good friendships from belonging to these societies. But if Jupiter is weak in this house, afflicted, your friendships are always fluctuating. Friends are coming and going in your life constantly, and there is little consistency to be found there. Jupiter represents the husband in the female chart. Very often, husband is met in larger network circles or even through your elder sibling, as this is a house of elder sibling. Very often, it's fortunate, showing a great deal in common with your husband, having similar goals in life and even similar philosophies. Finally, this is the house of your elder siblings. If Jupiter is strong here, you can expect much help and support from them at all times, particularly maybe elder brother, because Jupiter represents the elder brother himself. Let's move on now and consider Jupiter's important aspects on the other houses of your chart. Jupiter's fortunate fifth aspect on the third house of your chart brings back good karma from past lives. So these good deeds are giving you once again help from siblings. This is a house of younger siblings. So elder siblings, younger siblings, in some way there is great good karma coming here which will support you and aid you in this life, or you support them. It's a mutual factor. If there is affliction here, there can be some misunderstandings, however. Now, Jupiter here definitely is going to give you great communication skills. Your speaking voice is excellent. You are able to communicate ideas succinctly and clearly to other people. You gain great popularity from your communication, and you can actually go far with this, even in media circles also. Jupiter makes you courageous. You never back down. You are always fighting through, no matter what difficulties come upon you in this life. Jupiter's seventh aspect on the fifth house of your chart can often show male children because Jupiter represents male children. But the most important factor is that you are philosophical, moral, and actually a very good parent to your children. But sometimes Jupiter's seventh aspect can show misunderstandings with your children. But in the end, these are overcome because they have had such a good upbringing. So you want them to go a certain way and they go the opposite way. That can be seen. But do not worry. Jupiter's aspect gives your children good education and very good outcome normally. You, however, could even be a bit of a risk taker by this aspect. You like sporting activities sometimes, and you certainly like to take a risk financially. If you have a good aspect of your fifth house lord, you can make speculative gains. That can definitely be shown. But if this fifth lord is afflicted, you can have losses here. So you have to be cautious all times. Your education can actually be slightly broken by this seventh aspect because you are restless and uncertain in your education direction. But on the whole, Jupiter shows love of learning and you overcome any breaks easily over time. Finally, Jupiter's important ninth aspect on the seventh house of spouse. This is fortunate for you because your chart, of course, may show affliction to your seventh lord or difficult planets in your seventh house, but Jupiter can bring you out of any difficulty in your spousal situation in the end. By dint of your past good karmas, you can end up with a supportive relationship which is mutually satisfying. Jupiter can often show spouses actually from foreign land because he represents foreigners, or you meet your spouse when you are traveling abroad. Most importantly, though, you gain a great understanding with your spouse, philosophical understanding, religious understanding that gives strength to your partnership. You can also have fortunate business enterprise by this ninth aspect. You can be a very successful business person, entrepreneur indeed. So all in all, Jupiter 11th house is a most munificent placement for material success and support in life. Supported by your friends, siblings, children, and your partner, it is a most successful placement indeed. Hope that was helpful to you all up on your screen now. Jupiter in all the houses. Check out the karma of your natal Jupiter. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to sub below. Goodbye for now, and God bless everyone.